Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dassault Systems Executive Meet with YourStory. I'm Vishal Krishna, your business editor at YourStory, of course. And today, we're privileged to have with us Olivier Sappin, CEO CATIA at Dassault Systems, and Eric Bienvenu, Vice President, Global Sales and Center of Excellence, SIMULIA at Dassault Systems. A little bit about both of them, okay? Olivier has over 24 years of experience in the field of 3D design and end-to-end virtual product and experience innovation, and has deep knowledge of the automotive and mobility sectors that I'm passionate about. Eric, on the other hand, has about 27 years experience in the enterprise software space and has held sales, management, and executive positions at several companies across Europe. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you?
Very good, very good.
Pretty good. How are you?
Very good. I'm very good. And there's a reason why we're doing this subject. It's called the future of experiential design, innovation, and the future of immersive technologies. For those of you startups and corporate watching this, here's why we're doing this. By the way, India has a reputation for being a software powerhouse. The country's startup ecosystem is building software or application-based solutions, especially in fintech, consumer, and other focused areas like SaaS. But in the last few years, we've also seen the emergence of startups in the systems and hardware space in areas such as medtech, UAVs, drones, manufacturing, and other automotive solutions. Typically, hardware-based product development requires a longer lead time and is more capital intensive, as you all know. But product lifecycle management solutions from companies such as Dassault Systems have reduced the development cycle for such startups. These solutions have improved startups' control over their asset management processes and have given them an integrated plug-and-play ecosystem by their value chain. So Olivier and Eric will tell you why you can use these tools to reduce your PLM cycle and make great products with brilliant design. Okay, Olivier, Eric, I want to start. This for both of you. The pandemic has really changed everybody's lives in many ways. It's been the most difficult time for this generation, at least. And how has it changed for the CAD and the PLM industry in terms of business?
Hello everyone, Olivier speaking. So yes, as you said, I think that the current crisis, the current pandemic has impacted every one of us and the way we live, the way we work every day. I think that in our sector, and you talk about CAD and PLM, I think the change is going even beyond that. What we see, what we experience with our users, our customers, is a new normal, a new way of working. Beyond the tools itself, a new way of working. I must say that we were lucky because we did some experience about this new way of working even before the pandemic. We worked a lot, Dassault Systèmes, with many startups in different domains, aerospace, automotive, with new electric vehicle makers around the world. It has been a big trend in the last 10 years. And, the advantage of this company, they have a lot of challenges, but one of the advantages, they start from a blank sheet of paper. There is no legacy. So they can choose their own strategy, their own way to work. And, from day one, they adopted a new practice where everybody's online, everybody is connected on a platform, on the cloud. So when they ran through the pandemic, somehow they were able to be much more flexible, much more agile, working from home without any disruption. And somehow we see now this impact going to the entire sector. And this kind of practice become the new normal. And for instance, companies like Canoe, EV startup in US. We have also equivalent in Europe with Lightyear. We work also in the aerospace with company like Joby, but also in India we had several experience, and somehow now it's accelerating the change, not only with these new startups, but with the overall company in this sector.
If I can add something to what just Olivier said, it's of course the pandemic drastically changed the way we work and we work with our customers, but also changed the challenge for all our customers and all startups. And we saw the innovations and the need to be much more, let's say, proactive and understanding how the product will perform will be critical to be on the market and to be able to, let's say, deliver those, let's say, sustainable innovations very quickly. And one example of that, and the first one, which was very at the beginning of the pandemic, I guess, and we all were aware of that. This is this Wuhan hospital. They build up an hospital in few weeks. Nobody can imagine that just a few years ago. Okay, if you were talking about an hospital, it's 2-3 years effort, and you get something at the end. So now it was just few weeks, and in few weeks you have to understand everything. You cannot have a chance to let's try it, let's do it, and if it works, we will keep going on. No, you have to make it right, and that's of course a huge infrastructure. Let's say equipment. But what was very interesting for us, those companies were never in some way, were not directly calling us to get support. And that's where you have a lot of companies working around those hospitals, which were not our, let's say, customers per se, which become overnight very interested in what we can deliver, how we can deliver it, and what is the performance we can do with those systems through cloud, through the infrastructure and the platform. With that was one aspect. The other aspect was also very lot of startup companies coming to us to say same things. We have to innovate. And we cannot now go through the classical process, which was building up, testing, and again modifying, testing again, and so on. So they say no way. We need to have it right first time, and the test should be a kind of a confirmation of the performance. It should not be a trial to see if it works. And that's a huge difference. Is what the pandemic was clearly putting a shift and changing gears in the way people design and understand also the innovation and simulation.
That's fair. I think both of you said it right. You need agility, and for many of the companies, this is like a blank sheet of paper. They can kickstart this immediately. In terms of transformation itself, which everybody is talking about in the last 5 years, and say AI, they're talking about design simulation, modeling. What are some of the emerging areas that need to think through these things, and who's done a good job? What sectors? Is it urban mobility, 3D printing, personalized implants? Is it the telecommunication space and 5G? Is it the wearables industry, health tech? We can go on with these industry names. What does transformation mean to both of you? And how is the modeling, design, and simulation industry changing with that? Please, over to you.
As a matter of fact, there are 4 main transformation that we are looking at, which are very profound. The first one, is the fundamental idea that companies are not developing anymore just products, but experiences. And what we mean by experiences is talking not only about the product technology, but the product usage, the way the consumer will use the product. Now, what does it change from a modeling and simulation standpoint? I think it changed everything. It starts from designing. It's not about giving the right shape, checking aerodynamics or ergonomics. It's all together, and this is why we are together with Eric, because we think that from the very first step of the development, people need to think about experience thinking. That's number one. Number two is what we are trying to do also with Eric is bridging, fusioning modeling and simulation. We think in the future our user will be people who want not only like in the past modeling, checking, redoing, fixing. We want to design right the first time. We want to make sure we want to make, we used to say CAD is not anymore computer aided design. It's about cognitive augmented design. So it's automated, it's smart, and it's simulation inside. That's the second one. The third one is, and this one is coming from the aerospace and very much in the transportation mobility as well, is about system. many of our innovation right now, if you take your smartphone, if you drive your car, if you go in you travel in an airplane, all the things are smarter and smarter, and all these innovation are driven by more and more electronics, more and more software. So it's not just about modeling mechanical design, you know, it's about cyber, what we call cyber physical system.
Yeah.
Cyber means control, so software. How do we design and model a complex system, like an airplane, like a car,
Yes.
like a smartphone, like a medical device, and that's so it's a big transformation. And we were lucky that the company name from day one is Dassault Systèmes, and system is really on top of the transformation. And last but not least, I would the fourth one actually is coming from a complete different other sector, which is infrastructure, construction, cities. We think that this sector is also transforming from, I would say, craftsmanship, many one-of-a-kind projects, very complex, but not yet provided in terms of products or module like it was done in the automotive and aerospace. And so in terms of productivity, this industry for many reasons has been lagging behind. And I think that there is a profound change in this industry as well to reuse what we have done for the last 20 to 30 years with automotive and aerospace, and trying to adopt these practices like modularization, like parametrization, like system in the construction sector as well. I mean, Eric mentioned a very nice example about the hospital created in a few days. We think that this kind of trends will be going to impact the overall construction sector, and that's an important thing. And by the way, when I mentioned this fourth sector, fundamentally, I think that there is also big KPIs, big indicator, you know, like sustainability. You know, if you think about cars, if you think about airplanes, if you think about new construction, you cannot look at this sector anymore just as purely consumer value. You need to look at the footprint of every single innovation. So I think it's going to have a huge impact on the way our user use our solution at the moment.
I agree with you, simply because if I talk to the car manufacturers, they talk about designs. In the old days, both of you know the industry very well. They used to plan 4 years in advance for their next launch, right? 4 to 5 years. And now I think they're trying to reduce the timeline to under 18 months. And that is phenomenal when it happens. It's like everyone's looking at a platform approach. Now, obviously, CATIA and SIMULIA can really help them with this cycle faster, right? Eric, you want to add to these things that Olivier just spoke about?
Yeah, exactly what you said. It's okay. We see the time to develop a product they shorten very drastically, and that's why I think it's very important. And what Olivier pointed out, the experience. It's how the people, how the consumer will use the product, how he will interact with the surrounding environment. Everything should be taken into account, because, like you said, if it takes 4 years to launch a new vehicle and you make the wrong decision at the beginning, I guarantee you the output. It will be not necessarily an outstanding product on the market, not the bestseller. Let's say that to the team. So, but we think that what we see also behind those trends, there is still a lot of things which is ongoing and challenges for this engineering team together. Lightweighting, let's say how much miles you can ride with a car, and based on the quantity of energy you can put into batteries. Those kind of challenges. How you can make sure the product can be recycled. How you will the new generation is very, let's say, the consciousness of the new generation is very high on the, sorry to say new generation, perhaps we are a bit old, both. But the younger people, let's put that this way, the younger people get much more concerned about how they will, let's say, act, behave, and be concerned about the way they use resources, and anything can be resources. How they will use those resources to make sure they get exactly the minimum footprint and handprint, what we call at Dassault Systèmes, which is a very important concept, I guess, in the coming years. And all that put a lot of challenges on the engineering. I would say on what we did for the last 10, 20 years, it put a lot of challenges because we have solution and we have contribution to this new world heavily in terms of lightweighting. We talk about 3D printing. You talk about composite. We talk about all the system of system. If the system of system, what Olivier described, is well thought and answer the question I was just asking, you get clearly a good product which will in some way fulfill the expectation of the consumer and fulfill the expectation of you as a person in your daily life. So that's why it's so important. Even for a young company, a startup, they cannot just think about the product. They need to think how this product will behave and will be understood and let's say adopted by people. That's where the experience is all about. And that's why it's so important for us to provide this, a place where you can develop that as one system and not as one thing, not just a kind of a sum of different pieces.
Oh, wonderful. I mean, I think we can go on about that subject. It's beautiful. Yeah. On that note, let's talk about the startups. Sometimes they believe that modeling and simulation packages are expensive. Now, I also think the world is spoiled because the cloud or the internet makes everything freely available. How do you think we can make packages that are specialized for startups, younger ideas in colleges? How can they access tools such as SIMULIA, CATIA? I want you to talk about what they bring for these younger people, and then we can talk about examples like Canoe, Rivian, Exxon, Aviation. We can also talk about Indian examples like Royal Enfield, electric two-wheelers, 3D printing, digital orthopedics. We can bring in these subjects. Over to you guys.
I think what you said is very true. We need, I think, to adapt the solution depending of the companies, the user we are serving. And it's not at all the same, as you said, addressing a startup, sometimes starting with in their garage from scratch, compared to giant company. What we did, at the same time that we were starting to work with these new actors, we fundamentally changed the structure of our portfolio because we said, it cannot be just about looking at modeling, simulation, manufacturing. It has to be industry-centric.
Most modeling and simulation functions today perform as specialized, siloed disciplines, with each using separate, often incompatible software tools. When a designer shares information, that information must be translated and reworked into simulation software. Rigid handovers to analysts slow down collaboration, disrupt innovation, and prevent companies from timely delivery of these more sophisticated products without additional resources. What if you could break down the walls between disciplines and free analysts and designers to innovate in harmony? Integrated modeling and simulation, or ModSim, makes it possible. ModSim is a lean approach to engineering that can revolutionize the productivity of engineers and product teams. Seamless engineering, using one model and starting at the earliest phase of product development, allows engineers to confidently deliver the right product at the right time. Using an integrated platform to support multidisciplinary collaboration, ModSim makes it possible to virtually model complex shapes and simulate their performance and behavior. Embracing ModSim allows you to experience all aspects of your design by predicting a product's behavior much earlier, removing the expense of physical prototyping. Explore more design alternatives, allowing you to optimize the design to best meet functional requirements and manufacturing constraints. Finally, accelerate collaborative innovation across dispersed teams who all work on the same data in real time. Discover how, by experiencing your product with integrated modeling and simulation, you can deliver better products faster.
So what we did is, it has started quite a long time ago, 2012. We introduced the platform and we introduced the so-called industry solution, industry processes. And I give you one pragmatic example for startups. We had a new solution, like one was electromobility accelerator. So what does it mean? It means that we try to identify precisely what is the fundamental needs of an engineer in a new startup working with modeling simulation tools, what is affordable for them, what kind of value it brings, and of course to make sure that this portfolio will be available on the platform, on the cloud, to make it flexible. So we to approach that question that you just asked, we fundamentally rework the complete approach of our portfolio. And actually, the beauty of it is now, from the beginning of this year, 2020, you go on our platform online. It's you just need to go on online through the platform, and you can browse all these different solutions in a very easy way. See the value. So we really make that available online, and it changed completely the approach, and it changed also the relationship we have directly with our users.
Yes, and in addition to those points about the way we address by industry and by processes, like it just was mentioned by Olivier, I will point out, okay, the Dassault Systèmes as a company is very focused on, let's say, the knowledge and the know-how. So the knowledge is clearly, okay, how we make sure people understand and can get access to our technology, and it starts with university programs. So we have a very strong, and is going to be strengthened in the next let's say months now, because we see the benefit of those programs in terms of making sure people and young engineers, young, let's say, designers, or even people we are not necessarily so close to this design phase can access our technology. So we do have clearly a very strong program, a university program, which will be strengthened, and with, like we said, with to make sure people can understand what is available and what they can do. And again, that's number one things, to make sure we do have that. We have a startup program, which is also clearly designed to make sure that a very young company, 2-3 people, can start to do something with very advanced technology like Dassault Systèmes offers, because it's usually a very key point to succeed in your innovation, in your first idea, to make sure you can, let's say, test it, validate what you want to bring on the market. And that's part of the startup program. And I just want to strengthen what Olivier said. It's not providing tools at the end. Again, if we just think that providing tools, you solve the problem, it's not because you give a hammer to somebody, you understand what to do with a hammer. It's more or less to give him all the methodology, all the best practices we have and we have experience, and we have seen with some other customers, to make sure they go straight to the result, or they go straight to where they want to be in terms of their innovation, the way to design, or the way to simulate the system, and how to understand how it will work. So that's to bring again the experience as a whole system, which is not just a tool. If you provide a tool, I guess, yes, you have done a good job, but it's not enough, I guess. If you want to go fast and quick on innovation, you need to provide much more. And methodology and all those best practices are key things, a key differentiator at the end to succeed.
No, it's a great point. I wanted to ask you that, we all live in a world of communities now. You've seen how the social world has grown. And, because the buying process for tools has changed. I see Instagram and people follow these communities. It's not just marketing. People, like engineers, feel happy about, certain tools and products. How do you think the startup buying process will be going forward in this new era? And I don't know, in the old days, we'd have relationships with, the sales manager or the product manager coming in and talking to you. But now it's about all these various other channels where people sit and form their own tribe, discuss, share, GitHub being the classic example, Postman in the API world, right? How do you think this will change for you? And how do you think Dassault would find its startup space buying Dassault's products? And why should they buy them? How different is it from competition?
Mm-hmm. No, but first of all, the rise of communities, social network, it's already something that we are experiencing, and it changed completely the relationship we have with our users. As a matter of fact, we have communities with our users, and the way we structure our communities is that we just did a global modeling and simulation event, and what we want to do here is, and it's especially important at the time where a lot of things are getting virtual because we cannot meet physically this year like we did in the past. We really want to make sure that all the, like Eric said, knowledge, know-how can be, capitalized in communities in order to build a dialogue with our users. So to be very pragmatic, right now when we engage with a new startup or a big company, we set up those community. So sometimes with a big number of people to exchange and brainstorm, sometimes with a very few experts to discuss about very precise topics, and all the communication, collaboration, exchange of ideas is going through these new communities. Yes. I really encourage everybody listening to this session to just go and type Dassault Systèmes communities on the web and go and see what kind of content. It's very interesting because a lot of experts, users from these different companies are sharing ideas, yes, presenting things, and there is a lot of a lot of interaction. And I think this is why you said, why are we choosing Dassault Systèmes? Yeah. I think that this new idea about a single platform, single version of truth with the capacity to model and simulate the virtual twin, this is quite unique on the market right now. This is quite unique, and I think that it's really fitting quite well with the big challenge they have to put innovation quickly on the market, getting visible, getting interaction with their consumer. This is the right approach.
Exactly. One point on that, and I guess I don't want to re-say what just Olivier said here. It's I was promoting also this startup program. So we have a startup program. There is another thing, like you said, which is very much more important. We have what we call a champion program. That's people which are understanding, endorsing what we are delivering to the market, and the way we want to make sure that the people can innovate and can sustain their innovations. And so those champions are also advocates, and that's the people we want to let's say support, help, let's say motivate, even to make sure that they will communicate what great things they can achieve with what we are delivering and what we are offering in terms of solutions and platforms. So that's a very important program for us. It was very active in the past years, more in companies, and it's moving to the social media now. It's moving to people which are not necessarily a part of a large company or an organization, which can be just even people who are promoting what they thought they have, the way to design, the way to let's say innovate, the way we can let's say support some new conceptions, new ideas, new architecture. So those people are very important for us, and we do work with them as well as a kind of making sure they will convey and support and realize their promise and realize their dreams with our solution. So the way, if they do that well, we are also getting the benefit of making examples of what can be done, what is realistic, what you should dream for. And that's all the part of having the champion program. And we are very focused on that. Same things, learning, sharing, and communicating things.
Okay, next question is going to be very important. People talk about form factors, mobile as a form factor. I think 3D Experience platform is compatible on the mobile today, where you can show simulation results and also design. And also with that, AR, VR, and mixed reality is also going to become a big part of visualization. And 3D is going to change forever. So quickly, both of you can tell me what's happening with Dassault with these things, and what can startups expect from the mobile form factor, AR, VR also.
Yeah, actually, we are providing already lot of the things we do on taking advantage of all this new innovation. Already 2 years ago at CES, we were introducing the way you can sketch design in 3D in a virtual reality environment or augmented reality. We had a nice experience that we did with Canoe as well in getting around a physical mock-up, but having augmented reality to see the different stage of the development on top of it. So I guess that progressively we see all this kind of technology coming, which change a lot the way we look at the thing. And more, it's true that we are providing a lot of different solutions which are much more democratizing the usage of design simulation, not just for experts, like if it was in the past, but everybody should be able on any device, anytime, through the platform to access what we call the virtual twin experience.
Yes, that's true. And there's something called the virtual twin experience that you focus on too, right? So yeah, Eric, can you add something on the AR, VR, and mixed realities?
Yeah, just one or two words here.
Please.
It's an extremely important point. It's and I guess Dassault Systèmes was known as a 3D company, and I guess the difference is what when we're talking about mobile, what we want and what we deliver on the mobile is still a 3D experience. Okay, it's not a picture, it's not a kind of let's say dead information which is in front of you. It's clearly a 3D information. It stays 3D information, and the interactions, the abilities, the navigations, the connections of this model is fully let's say maintained, and that's what we want to, and that's what we are delivering to the market. So it's not just an experience which will be on the large laptop or big computers. It's also something you can bring in the shop floor, in the street, in front of the new product, to just do and keep working with this product as between the virtual and the real as one. So that's something which is very important, and that's all the strategy of Dassault Systèmes, to stay very 3D focused in some way. And with a lot of contents and value added on top of the 3D on top of that, and not just a kind of a picture. Picture is good; it's a good way to communicate, but a bit static.
On that note, gentlemen, this has been a very exciting conversation there. And for the startups watching this, if you want to bring things to life, then use SIMULIA and CATIA, of course. And we're always open to questions, so keep sending those questions in. We'll try to get Olivier and Eric to answer them, and I'll bring them back again for sure. This was such an insightful discussion, gentlemen. I'll see you soon. Have a safe time back in Paris.
Okay. Hey, bye, guys from India.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.